Welcome back everybody to my channel. I'm Jen the Body Painter, Jen Seidel. This is Dakota, my girlfriend.
Hey.
Today's topic is very interesting because I've been wanting to talk about kind of like my hardships, why I got divorced, where I went from there, being a single mom. I just never got around to it because it's kind of a touchy subject and I wasn't sure how I was going to explain it. With Dakota now doing videos with me, it just seems easier, and so she's gonna ask me questions and I'm going to respond. Basically just going to be explaining what happened, how I went from marriage and a family, 3 kids, to a single mom struggling. So
it's such an amazing story. You guys really want to tune in and listen to this one.
And these are also questions based on some of you, because over time I've seen comments and responses to videos where people assume or say something that they think they know what happened in my life, and I'm going to clear this up. That's one of these videos that I'm going to just clear up right now. Hopefully you guys can relate to this, or somebody can relate to this, and it will actually help someone.
First question, how were you feeling in your marriage?
At first it was like fairy tale, and as time goes on and people grow, we just started to grow apart. It was a great experience. I would never ever take it back and never regret anything I did with it because I have my 3 children. It started taking a toll on me because I started to feel like I was like in a little box. The box kept getting smaller and smaller, and I kept thinking to myself, this cannot be the rest of my life. Like, there has to be more than this. Not to bash anyone, but when 2 people are together and they're growing complete opposite directions, you start to really resent the other person. So it can go both ways. And that became kind of toxic. The control issues and the feeling like I couldn't breathe, and, you know, not speaking for the other side, but I'm sure there was issues on that side too. It goes both ways, obviously, and I'm not blaming anyone. It just evolved into this not good situation where I needed to make a change. And as I was watching my children grow, I felt like I was gonna hold them back and not let them grow if I stayed in that situation. So I like recognized it, noticed it, and I was like, oh my God, I gotta do something about this because this can't be forever.
Yeah, and I think it's very important, like, and it's it's very like strong of you to realize how you were feeling and looking at your kids and wanting a better life, because 2 people do, like, people want to stay together because of the kids, but they don't realize the damage that does to the kids.
Oh my God, so many people, I've heard that so much, that people want to stay together because of the kids. Do you hear that? If you do not pay attention to yourselves first, that's not good for the kids. You have to make yourself happy first. Yeah. That's crucial.
All right, so that leads me into my next question. How did you find the strength to leave?
Well, I think what happened was I got so fed up and I was so unhappy. Oh my God, I was so unhappy. And I couldn't understand like why and what was going on. And trust me, I have to say this. I made therapy appointments. I made couples therapy appointments. I literally did everything I possibly could to make this marriage work, and I still wasn't happy. He wasn't happy. So I needed to make a very important decision, that was to get up and go. It got to the point where it was so bad that I just wanted to leave. I just wanted to get out of the house. Yeah. So I packed up the kids and I went to a girlfriend's house. That week, basically, we made it legal and I got 100% custody of my kids within 1 week.
Wow. That's amazing.
But to me, yes, it is amazing, and that to me was the most important thing. I didn't care about the house. I didn't care about materialistic things. I didn't care if I had furniture. I didn't care if I left my clothes there. I just wanted 100% custody of my children so I could allow them to grow. I could open their future doors and just say go, and I was the one that allowed that to happen.
So were you scared? Like,
I was terrified.
Yeah,
terrified.
Because a lot of people, they're just afraid to leave because of what, if you're in a dangerous situation, a toxic situation, you could be afraid to leave because they're gonna come after you.
Well,
you know, like,
I had some threats, but I'm not gonna get into that too much. It's funny now.
So did you do anything in particular to get away from that? Like, because I know a lot of people out there are just
I went to
afraid.
New York.
Yeah, so I mean,
I took the kids and went to New York, and I just tried to stay away from the area as much as I possibly could while we were going through this process. When you ask him, it would be a completely different story. I was in such fear that I just had to get away. And I need to protect my kids, like, you know, mama bird protecting her kids with the wings over them is what I felt like. So I did whatever I could that I felt was safe for my kids. And we ended up eventually, once it kind of went through court and everything, we ended up back in Maryland. And I think the biggest thing that I had on my side was the support of my parents and some friends. But most of my friends were married and they were just shunning me. They just couldn't understand. They just thought, you know, I got married, I should stay married. And
see, and that's the biggest thing. People like to judge.
Yeah, I don't like that.
You just have to do what's best for you and your kids, you know? Like,
I think so. What I realized with that is that they weren't really my friends, I guess, and I just got rid of them, cut them out, and replaced them with people who I knew were going to support me in this situation and guide me, which were my parents, basically, somebody that loves me. You know, it just kind of built up enough where I exploded, and just like, one day I was just like, I get the out of here. And I did it. It just made it happen. I made it happen. Honestly, when I look back at it, it was a lot. You know, I was younger. I looked ahead in the future. I thought, wow, I have a bright future. I can make anything I want happen. This is my life. I have control of my life.
Yeah.
No one else does but me.
That's amazing that you had the amount of strength that you did to get out of that situation.
I really think though too, it's like a mindset of like how I grew up. And I think I feel really bad for people who are born in families that don't have that support or don't think that way. Like, I just happen to have parents that are very entrepreneurial and they think outside of the box. And I was very lucky to have that. Manifest this, manifest that type of family. So I got really lucky with that. I totally believed in myself, even though I kind of didn't at the same time.
Yeah.
Like, my end result was, I'm gonna make it through this somehow, some way.
Yeah, and I think for those that don't have a strong support system at home or friends, like there are therapists, and if you don't have the money for that,
that's a good point.
Yeah, there are so many platforms out there that can give you advice.
That
you know,
is
like
such
podcasts,
a good, yeah.
and because that's kind of similar to what I did. I was just using Instagram and all of the healing tools and pages that they offer. It really helps, and I know you've done that as well.
God,
to help you.
That was like later in life, like finally I realized like, oh wow, YouTube has great videos. YouTube's everything, so obviously look what we're doing.
So for some people, you could be your best support system. My next question, how did you survive as a single mom?
Oh my God. When I first left, I was living with a friend who allowed us to stay in his house, and we had the whole first floor, and I made it like as if the kids were home. So they kind of didn't feel much of a change. But after a year, I had to get my own house because I was like, we need our privacy. So I got a real estate agent with my mom, and we're searching. We pull up to this house, and Brandon's in the back seat, kids are in the car. Brandon unsnaps his seatbelt and jumps up in the middle and says, this is the house. And I was like, looking at the house, I looked at him and I went, you don't even know that. And he's like, I do. So we get out, we get in, I'm with the real estate agent, I'm talking to my mom. The kids are running around all over the house. Brandon comes back and little Kennedy's following, and they all come back into the room. They're like jumping up and down. We love it, we love it, we love it. Well, my real estate agent said that there were 6 bidders on it, so we would have to fight for this house. And I was like, oh my God, because I looked at her, I said, can we get this house? She's like, I don't know. So she told the story about the kids, me being single with the kids wanting this house so bad and the whole thing, and we ended up getting the house.
That's amazing.
Which was amazing.
Yeah.
Well, once I got the house and I settled and everything with help from family members, thank God everything worked out, I looked at the house and I said, I don't have a job, I have no money coming in, and I have a mortgage now. Like, what the am I gonna do? So I started doing mini makeovers because I am a makeup artist and I have my esthetician's license, and I just did little at a time. I was doing like $25 makeovers. It was hardly even getting me to the place with gas. It was insane. And then I started increasing, and I met photographers and I built a portfolio, and I just had this end result that I was gonna have a business that was gonna make money, that was gonna support my house and my kids and myself. I slowly but surely did it. Well, still I had a whole house to pay for. So I'm like, how am I gonna do this? So I started renting the bedroom, the other bedroom, the downstairs, and I started interviewing people, and I had roommates in here, and me Brandon, Claudia, and Kennedy were all living in my master bedroom.
Wow.
It was me sleeping on a queen size, Brandon sleeping at the end, Claudia sleeping next to me, and Kennedy in a toddler bed. And then roommates throughout the house. And they were helping me pay my mortgage. When there's a will, there's a way. I made it happen. So yeah, that was like a huge thing. So I got to pay my mortgage. I was never late. I was building my credit back from my marriage, which was awful. And then my $25 makeovers grew to 50, grew to 75, and then I started doing photo shoots with makeup and stuff like that. I really just did whatever I could to make ends meet, and I didn't really have any kind of super big goal in mind yet. And I guess that goes into your next question.
Yeah, so how did you start your career?
One day it just hit me. I ended up meeting somebody through my mom, and I ended up working with a model company, which I was like an ambassador for, like selling liquors and wine stores. And I was like, hey, would you like to taste some wine? I was one of those annoying girls that every time somebody walked in, I'd be like, would you like a taste test? And I wouldn't shut up. I was like a robot. Like, I did one job where it was like Walmart, and I was selling Axe, you know, the spray for men. And I gave Brandon like tons of my sprays afterwards left over. I did like all kinds of different promotions for this modeling company, which was amazing. That really helped me get more money because I was getting monthly payments, so I was really racking it in at that point. I was like, this is amazing. And I could be at home when my children got home from school.
You did everything that you could, any job that came your way.
Not really any job that came my way, because I could not do a 9-to-5 job. I could not do an 8-to-4 job. I could not be what they call the rat race. I could not be in the rat race. I had to be on my own. I knew that in order to be with my children and raise my children the way that I wanted to, I needed to have a job that I had control over the hours. One of the biggest things for me is I had to be home when my kids got home from school. Like, I didn't have that. Just wanted to have that freedom during the day. And then when it was time to put them to sleep, then I would go do my jobs for this modeling company and sell liquor and do whatever I have to do to hustle to make ends meet. And I would get a babysitter and to be like, hey, feed them, put them to sleep, and then I would go to work. I made it work, but I did it to what I wanted.
Yeah, and I think that's what a lot of people struggle with too, like, because society makes us feel like we need a 9-to-5 job to be able to support our family. So for those people that think you have to have a 9-to-5 job to survive, you really don't. You just have to do whatever you can to have that money.
I tried 9-to-5. I got fired from one. I lasted 2 hours at a restaurant as a server for another. I got fired from another one. And then I got a manager position at I think it was LA Weight Loss, actually. And I was manager, and I was supposed to go there, and I was on the phone with my dad, and I'm on my way, and I'm like complaining to him, I don't want to go, I don't want to go. And he's like, so don't. And I'm like, I have to. He's like, no, you don't. I'm like, oh my God, you're right, I don't. And so I quit. I was kind of stuck. I had to work for myself at that point. And then one day it popped in my head, like, I want to be an artist, and I want to be a known artist. How am I going to do that? How am I going to sell my art? Because I decided that's what I wanted to do, because I love art so much, I was going to figure it out. So the modeling company that I was working for had a job that was available. It was like a 4-day job, and it required me to wear an orange jumpsuit, like zipped up. And it was raining the first 2 days, and we had to go and cover all this territory, and we had to go hand out cards to everybody to get them to come get free gas. We were gonna pump free gas for like 2 days in a row.
In bikinis?
No, in the orange jumpsuit.
Oh.
I literally looked like an inmate that just escaped from prison. And it was my birthday, I'll never forget it. And it was the second day of pumping gas all day long from like 8 o'clock in the morning to like 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So when I get home, I open up the door of this house, and my kids, you know, they're really little, and my kids and my parents are all there surprising me. And there's this picture, I wish I had it, of me in an orange jumpsuit going, because I was shocked that they were all there, and I'm like, ew, I smell like gasoline. That was the craziest job. Like, but I made, you know, that's what I did to make ends meet. I did what I had to do, but I still was working for myself, even though I was working a promotion. So I did a lot of promotions like that. Because I was with the modeling company, I was doing bikini contests, and at this local bar, the radio station, 98 Rock, was at this bar doing the bikini contest, and they asked me, what do I do for a living? And I said, I'm a body painter, which I hadn't really painted too many people at that point. And they were like, a bodybuilder? It's like, no, a body painter. Oh, what is that? I said, I paint clothes on people. Oh, really? We should have you on the radio semi-regular. I'm like, you should. And they did. every 6 weeks I ended up on the radio for a couple years and built my portfolio with that and my credibility with people. And then my modeling company the liquor companies I worked for ended up hiring me to do like little body paintings here and there. And then I kept saying, let me paint clothes on someone. I want to paint a shirt. I want to paint a logo. And they're like, no. I got no so many freaking damn times. But guess what? I finally got the yes. And then I started painting logos. And then it just kept growing and growing and growing. I started doing events and bigger events. And then one day Brandon came to me and said, we need to do a body paint channel for YouTube. And I was like, okay. So we started doing body paint. We did it for a year. Kennedy was my assistant. We traveled around all over the place. We didn't make any money from it because we kept getting demonetized for nudity. We ended up on like Snapchat Daily News. We ended up on Yahoo.
Know that.
We ended up all over the place. We did what we could do, and it wasn't returning us with the money that we really thought it would make. So they split off and did their own YouTube channel at that point. My body paint channel just kind of sat, and we started doing Walsh Family with Brandon. And that's when COVID hit. And COVID was like, when you guys remember the videos and Brandon's in the very beginning, when we were doing it in the kitchen, that was his beginning YouTube channel. And I just stepped away from it for a while. I took a break. I couldn't take it anymore. Now we're back at it, obviously, again, under different circumstances and different way of doing it. But wow, what an experience that was.
How did you keep such a strong relationship with your kids?
My children are my priority, obviously. You know that. Even now, you can see. It was just so super important to me to be close to my kids because they were the reason pretty much of why I got married and I wanted kids from the time I was like really little. I think treating them with the respect and treating them like they were little adults and not hiding anything really from them and explaining what was going on. I mean, not every detail.
Yeah.
But like a lot of stuff about my, what was happening with their dad and me. And I didn't hide anything from them. I grew up with a lot of things that were hidden from me.
Yeah.
So when I hit 30, it was like a shocker to me, the truth. I didn't want that to happen to my children. I wanted them to be very cautious, aware, see what life really is, realistic, and make their choices based on that. Not based on things that weren't true. I think maybe sharing that room for years, just being that close, I don't know. It was just super important. I just wanted them to respect me, which was really hard to do because, I still wanted to date. I still wanted a love life. Like, it was really hard. So to keep them separate from that was tough. I think that's probably the only mistakes maybe I made was letting them meet people too early.
So that's a good question. When is a good time for your kids to meet someone you're dating?
Now I would say never. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. If I could do that part over, I would be really careful. Obviously, if you're going to be really good friends with that person and they're going to be in your life forever, or if they're just good people, even if they're not going to be in your life forever, but they're good-hearted people and they care, it's like if they don't care and they're toxic in a way, which in my opinion, it took me a very long time to get away from not being attracted to toxic people. She's literally the first person that's not toxic, I believe. Well, no, that's not true. There was a couple other ones.
Damn.
There's a couple other ones, but she's the best one as far as that goes because for a heavier relationship, a deeper relationship, and someone that I want to spend more time with and get to know because the communication, it's like you just know, like I literally was attracted to just not good people. Just not good people.
So that's a good point to insert the, when you're still attracting the same thing, that means you haven't healed something in your past. That means you need to do more work to stop attracting those types of personalities because it's so true. If you're feeling a certain way, you're going to attract that energy back. You're going to bring that toxicity back into your life.
I just kept attracting the worst, and it just, every time I thought it was going to get better, it got worse. It just never turned in a better place. So I feel like at that point, the best advice that I can give you guys, if you're going through a toxic relationship or something like that, or if you just ended one, just pull away. Just be alone for a little bit. Be within yourself. For a while, I know you said in another video that you didn't listen to music for a while, neither did I. Like music, I would literally listen to like sad music and start crying in my car for no reason because I felt so sad and so depressed and so feeling sorry for myself because they broke up with this guy, blah, blah, blah. I was like, oh my God, so bad. So I stopped listening to music and I stopped watching romantic movies for a little while, because if that's what's gonna trigger me, then I won't watch them.
Yeah.
Now I can watch anything, obviously, and I feel very healed and I feel very good. It took a while, but you can get there too. That's the best thing about it. You can get there. You can literally start right now.
Start now. How did you find balance with your kids, your relationships, your dating life, and your jobs?
I think balance is one of the hardest things human beings have to deal with. Balance with work, balance with dating, balance with kids, balance with health, balance with partying. Like, it has to be a little bit of each. And I got off track many times, but then I caught myself when I would feel that high anxiety. I would just go within, do a 5-minute meditation, get my mind straight again, and reset. I had to reset many times. You reset as many times as you have to reset, and then you move forward and forget about it. The past doesn't matter. Just keep moving forward and don't think too far into the future. I know that if I thought about the past and I thought about too far into the future, I'd have an anxiety attack. As soon as I brought myself back down to present and forgot about everything else, I felt a calmness over me. And I think that's what I tried to maintain throughout the whole entire time.
You can't be stuck in the future and the what ifs. It's what's now. What's happening now?
Yeah.
How do you feel now? That will get you to the future. You don't have to worry about it.
Exactly.
You're going to get yourself there one day at a time.
And you know what I felt really? I remember one day my mom said to me, you need to get a therapist. And I'm like, really? So I ended up doing it. It was after my last worst breakup. I got a therapist. I've had a therapist for 6 years. I think the best thing about a therapist is communication, because you're constantly talking. I also think it's really important that you find a therapist that works with your personality.
Yeah.
You need somebody that cares about what you're saying, but at the same time, not telling you what to do. But I literally found someone that I felt was like I could communicate with. I felt like she was like a family member to me. So I think you should look for something like that. But it's also very hard to attract a good therapist unless you're truly ready for it.
Yeah. And it takes time.
You have to be ready.
You might have to go through a few of them just to find the right one.
I mean, it's funny. I'm 53. She's 30. She's going through some things that I went through at 30. Quite different. She's in a much healthier place than I was. She has a good job. You're very stable. You have a great girlfriend. She is ready to like go within and like, I'm not gonna say fix. It's not fixing. It's just like growing, right?
Yeah,
growing and
yeah.
learning, because everybody's growing all the time. I don't care who you are. If you say, oh, I've grown enough. No, you haven't. You will never stop growing. You'll grow even when you're 100 years old if you can make it to that age.
And that's one thing that I appreciate about you so much, is that you know that it's a lifelong of growth ahead of us.
It is.
It's never, you're never fully healed.
I think you were worried about that in the beginning, actually, because I think when you would not make mistakes, but when you felt like you weren't doing the right decision making, you thought I was going to get upset and like give up. And that wasn't, I had to tell her so many times, that's not what's going to happen. I'm not like that. I give chances. I understand we're human beings. We're all learning. This whole experience is a learning experience. What do they say? Hold on. So the quote that I loved is, we are spiritual beings having a human experience. Basically, we're all just souls and we're in these human bodies. So you got to make the best of it. Thank you guys so much again for watching, tuning in. Again, I hope this information really, made you think. I hope it helps you. I hope you enjoyed my silly stories. And, hardships suck, but you can overcome them. I truly am proof of that. So is she. So if we can do it, you can do it. And I just wish you guys the best. And thanks for following. And make sure you subscribe and comment. And we love you.